Tonight on News Watch, a former sheriff's deputy is sentenced for the murder of a woman who called 911. We'll have details from the courthouse.
Plus, a local university shares updates on enrollment. We'll break down the numbers. Emily?
Winter is in full swing with snow covering the ground and bitterly cold temperatures. But there may be a warm-up around the corner. I'll have the full details coming up. This is News Watch, and your Thursday evening's edition starts now.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
A year and a half after a killing that led to nationwide backlash, a former Central Illinois Sheriff's deputy is sentenced for murder. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Matthew Posner.
And I'm Ben Whitney. In October, a jury convicted former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson of second-degree murder in the shooting death of Sonia Massey. In summer of 2024, Grayson entered Sonia Massey's home after she called 911 to report a prowler. He eventually shot and killed her. Grayson said he shot Massey because she was holding a pot of boiling water. The shooting was caught on body-worn camera and prompted protests and backlash around the country. Today, Grayson was sentenced to 20 years in prison and 2 years of supervised release after that. Members of Massey's family have expressed frustration that Grayson wasn't convicted of first-degree murder. They point to statements from Grayson's caught on the body cam footage where he threatened to shoot Massey in the face. A topless man charged with sexually assaulting a child has entered a not guilty plea in the case. 34-year-old Jeffrey Esker entered that plea during an appearance in Effingham County Court yesterday. Esker was arrested in December and faces 2 counts of predatory criminal sexual assault of a child. Records show during his court appearance yesterday, a judge ordered that he remain in jail, and Esker requested a jury trial. Esker's next appearance is set for February 28th at 9 a.m. New at this hour, 1 person is dead after a multi-vehicle crash on Interstate 57 near Mattoon today. Firefighters say that 4-vehicle crash happened in the southbound lanes around 8:30 this morning and involved 2 vehicles and 2 semis, including 1 tanker hauling sugar water. They say a semi-driver had to be extricated from his cab. 2 people were taken to local hospitals and 1 person did not survive.
Authorities are investigating a fire that forced a Decatur family from their home this morning. Firefighters say they responded to Bristol Drive around 7 a.m. and found heavy smoke and flames coming from a bi-level home. They say 3 people were home at the time of the fire and all made it out safely, although 1 was taken to a hospital with minor injuries. Firefighters say they brought the fire under control within minutes on scene. A local organization is honoring a Coles County Sheriff's detective for his work on a human trafficking case. The Sheriff's Office says the group Prevail honored Detective Garen Johnson with an award for that case recently. Prevail told Newswatch they can't release any details about the case for which Johnson was awarded. But in a social media post, the Sheriff's Office says the offenders in the case were arrested and are now being prosecuted. Federal prosecutors say January is National Human Trafficking Prevention Month.
It's still very cold outside and snow still covers the ground. We saw snow across east central Illinois over the weekend, and that's causing the snow to still be on the ground as we look across Eastern's campus right now. But also throughout the daytime today, we saw high temperatures in the teens, so still cold temperatures as we move into this throughout this work week. A high temperature of 15 degrees here in Charleston, only getting up to 23 in Effingham and over in Robinson. But as we move overnight tonight, we're going to see those temperatures drop down to a low temperature of just 0 degrees under partly cloudy skies. So it's going to be a cold night tonight with winds blowing out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And as we move into tomorrow, it's not going to warm up too much with a high temperature of 16 degrees. That's a first look at your Skywatch forecast. Now back to the desk.
Illinois leaders are taking another step to protect access to abortion in the state. Governor J.B. Pritzker announced the launch of the Prairie State Access Fund on Wednesday. The new fund is designed to help people access abortion and other reproductive care using public and private dollars and supporting clinics and organizations across the state. Pritzker says as restrictions grow in other states, more patients are turning to Illinois for those services. He adds this fund will help cover gaps that insurance and Medicaid don't always reach.
The Access Fund is an example of truly a public-private partnership. We have the shared goals of building a more connected and resourced reproductive health ecosystem.
The governor cited data that shows of people who traveled to other states for abortion in 2024, nearly a quarter traveled to Illinois. Pritzker says his administration and lawmakers have taken other steps to ease abortion access, including repealing parental notification laws and establishing a hotline. A new report finds Illinois schools are facing a financial cliff as federal COVID relief money is running out. The Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Fund helped schools recover from the pandemic, and districts also used it to hire teachers. ESSER funds totaling nearly $200 billion supported K-12 education, particularly in low-income communities. But a new report from the University of Illinois Institute of Government and Public Affairs says that money is set to end after the 2026 school year. School authorities warn of budget gaps and say some districts may cut staff or programs.
Spring semester enrollment at Eastern Illinois University is down about 2% this year. Those figures come from EIU's 10th day census report. The drop reflects a 56% drop in international enrollment. Still, the university reports applications are up 24%, FAFSA submissions have increased 13%, and campus visits rose 10%. Fastest growing programs at the university are in the School of Business, Nursing, the School of Technology, Psychology, and Biology. Well, something that isn't growing is our temperatures.
It was another bitterly cold day here in Charleston, but we could soon see a change. Emily?
Today was another cold day, but temperatures are expected to start warming very slowly. I'll have the details on that warm up coming up.
I'm trying to see if I can get RJ to switch my graphic.
Police in Michigan are searching for the person who pilfered a 6-foot-tall taxidermied black bear, posting this video online showing the alleged stuffed bear bandit in the act, dragging the thing away from someone's porch in the middle of a snowy January night. Authorities hope the bear's eclectic array of accoutrements might help track down the stolen statue, noting it's sporting a fake sheriff's badge, ring, watch, and necklace. They've taken to social media asking anyone who might see the bear or know the suspect to contact state police. While some Michigan troopers are trying to track down the bear, others are hoofing it in hot pursuit of a loose miniature donkey. Making the joke, so we don't have to, often troopers are dispatched to locations where someone is acting like an, well, you know. They say Dolly Parton, the mini donkey, not the uber-famous superstar, snuck out of its pasture in Holly Township and went for a jaunt down the road. Troopers managed to get a rope around Dolly and return her to her owners, capping the saga, saying Dolly was a little reluctant to return to her pasture at first, but of course, no one looks forward to their 9 to 5. One final wildlife rescue. A Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep needed help after falling through the ice on the Taylor River in Colorado. Wildlife managers eventually managed to muscle the stuck ewe from its ice trap, then immediately went to work warming it up. And this one has a happy ending. After a night of observation, the team decided the sheep was healthy enough to return to the wild, driving her back to an area near her herd where they watched her bolt back to her home in the mountains. For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
It's been cold across the entire nation for the most part, except for if you get down to closer to southern Florida. But we're seeing 40 degrees in the deep south, 23 degrees in St. Louis, and it wasn't much warmer here. We saw high temperatures just in the teens today, high temperature of 15 degrees here in Charleston, getting up in the 20s in Effingham and Robinson with a high temperature of 23 degrees and 22 degrees over in Terre Haute. But all of these temperatures are still below freezing, which is why we're still seeing that snow on the ground here in the background across Eastern's campus earlier today. That's still the case right now as well, because those temperatures certainly are not warming up above freezing. We're seeing those temperatures drop down as we look currently at our temperatures. Temperatures currently around 14 degrees here in Charleston. Clouds moving in and out as we move overnight tonight. We will be seeing partly cloudy skies as we move throughout the night tonight, but a drop in temperatures to a low temperature of 0 degrees as we move overnight tonight. So it's going to be another cold night, but that's partly due to the winds that are going to be blowing out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour, blowing cold air down from the north into our viewing area and keeping those temperatures dropping as we move overnight. Now, as we look overnight, we're going to be seeing those clouds come and go here on our Futurecast. But we're going to be starting our day off tomorrow with mostly cloudy skies and also cold in the morning. So mostly cloudy skies to start off your day around 7 a.m. Temperatures still at 0 degrees as we start our day, but eventually those temperatures will begin to warm up as we move throughout the daytime. A high temperature tomorrow of just 16 degrees though, not warming up too much, similar to what we saw today. High temperatures still in the teens, and once again this is due to those winds blowing out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. The northwest later in the evening beginning to shift, but still blowing cold air into our viewing area and keeping those wind chills and those temperatures in the very, very cold, and those wind chills are going to be concerning as we move forward. Moving throughout our daytime, we are going to see high temperatures in the teens, but our wind chills in the morning are going to be in the negatives and then eventually stay in the single digits throughout our daytime. So it's going to feel even colder than it really is, even though our high temperature is reaching 16 degrees tomorrow. Now, as we look forward, we're going to start to see temperatures warm up, but not very quickly. As we start our weekend, a high temperature of just 20 degrees on Saturday under mostly cloudy skies. Beginning to warm up a little bit more as we finish off the weekend, a high temperature of 26 degrees on Sunday under mostly clear skies, and eventually we'll finally reach the 30s as we start next work week on Groundhog's Day, a high temperature of 30 degrees under partly cloudy skies for the beginning of next work week. And we're going to continue to warm up, and you can see that here. You're going to see this purple color and that cold air begin to push off to the east, but not completely, so temperatures are not going to warm up significantly. You're not going to be able to wear shorts outside, but you're certainly going to be a little bit warmer than what we have been seeing, but we are going to be below average or slightly below average for the next 6 to 10 days, even though we are seeing this warm up. Now, looking at the next 7 days, we're going to be seeing a high temperature of 16 degrees on Friday, slowly warming up as we move forward, a high temperature of 30 degrees on Monday, before we reach 32 degrees, that freezing mark on Tuesday, finally reaching that freezing mark as we make it to Tuesday. We're going to continue to warm up around midweek with a high of 34, but that warming trend's not going to last for very long because we will see temperatures begin to drop back off on Thursday with a high temperature of 30 degrees. So we are going to see a cold weekend ahead, but a slow warm up next week.
Thanks, Emily. I'm definitely looking forward to that warm up. These past couple of weeks have been pretty chilly across the area.
I'm noticing a trend in recent years where late January has really been where we're seeing our coldest weather here in East Central Illinois. This year was no different. Thanks, Emily. Coming up, a new video game will soon highlight 2 Central Illinois cities.
We'll hear more from the developers coming up. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
Years ago, I stood in this very studio for the first time, just as today's WEIU Newswatch students do. I was nervous, excited, and ready to learn. But WEIU believed in me. As a Newswatch alum, I learned how to tell stories that matter. I found my voice here. Today, WEIU needs your help to keep that same opportunity alive for the next student, the next story, and the next 40 years. Please consider giving using one of the methods on your screen. WEIU needs you now more than ever.
Two Central Illinois cities are getting their moment in the spotlight courtesy of a video game being released soon. Reporter Kent Davis has the story.
This may look like the Peoria skyline, but it's actually a video game look-alike, built half a world away.
We've carefully recreated several of Peoria's most notable landmarks.
Since the launch of American Truck Simulator in 2016, SCS software has steadily added more states, and Illinois is next.
Trucking in America is for us, is very exciting.
That's Thomas Dubsky, team leader for the Illinois DLC. He tells us the maps are actually 1/20th scale, and that means the inclusion of Peoria is an even greater honor.
It's very difficult to choose between 20 beautiful places, pick only one.
When selecting cities, Dubsky says he and the others at SCS consider visual interest, cultural flavor, and distance from highways. That's why Bloomington also made the cut.
There is a lot of interstates that we cannot remove from our game, and they are going around Bloomington. This is a very important city for us.
With the SCS team based in the Czech Republic, more research goes into recreating Illinois than you might think. History, road maps, photos, even research trips all contribute to the process. And Dubsky says that last one is what sealed the deal for Peoria.
And one person loved it. They came back, they said to me that he must do it. Nobody else cannot touch the area.
That game is expected to be released in the coming months. We turn our attention now to sports, and here with the latest is my co-anchor, Matthew Posner.
Thanks, Ben. Tonight in sports, a 5-time major champion is back on the PGA Tour. We'll have the latest on Brooks Koepka's return coming up. But first, Illinois men's basketball looks to keep it rolling tonight in Champaign. Thanks for watching. Your WEIU Sports Watch report is coming up next. Illinois men's basketball is on a special run. The Illini have won 9 consecutive contests. We'll look to make it 10 tonight against the Washington Huskies. Keaton Wagler stunned everyone last Sunday, dropping a U of I record 46 points in a massive upset over Purdue. With Kylan Boswell still out with a broken hand, the Illini may continue to lean on Wagler once again as he hopes to put on another big show. Washington's March Madness hopes are quickly fading despite the tremendous play from Hans Steinbach, and the Huskies desperately need a win to stay alive. This is the first time Washington is traveling to Champaign since December 1991. With the Huskies now in the Big Ten, these long road trips will become more frequent. Sports Watch will be in Champaign for tonight's Big Ten Showdown, which tips at 8. We'll have the full recap tomorrow night. Also in action tonight are the Eastern Illinois Panthers, whose men's and women's teams take on UT Martin here in Charleston. The women's game has already tipped off, and at last check, UT Martin is up 27-22 at the half. After 3 straight strong campaigns, the Panthers are 3-18 so far this year, and a win would go a long way towards rebuilding some confidence. As for the men's squad, Eastern sits in 8th in the OVC at 5-5, but the Skyhawks are 7-2 in conference play and 15-5 overall, which leads the OVC. That game is slated to tip off at 7:30, and Sports Watch will have the recap tomorrow night. The OVC softball preseason poll has been released, and the Panthers are ranked towards the top. Eastern Illinois comes in at 3rd, sitting behind the SIUE Cougars and the OVC preseason leaders, the SEMO Redhawks. EIU welcomes back OVC first-team selections pitcher Carly McKenzie and utility player Mo Hance. 2 more players were also named to the Players to Watch list, first baseman Abby Hatton and pitcher Brianna French. The Panthers season gets underway next Friday at the Georgia Southern Bash in the Borough tournament in Statesboro, Georgia. Lakeland men's basketball continues their road trip as they take on Wabash Valley College. It's the first of 2 matchups between the Lakers and Warriors this season, and we're not talking about LeBron James versus Steph Curry. In the end, Wabash Valley enjoys a strong second half to take down Lakeland 81-64. Lakeland drops to 7-12 on the season and 3-4 in conference play, while Wabash Valley improves to 9-10 on the year. Up next for the Lakers is a matchup with Lincoln Trail College at 3 on Saturday. Our 2 local market NBA teams are in action against each other. The reeling Indiana Pacers look to find a win as they host Josh Giddey and the Chicago Bulls. Is this shooting practice or an NBA game? Both teams bury several wide open threes early, but the Bulls lead by 4 at the half thanks to this smooth floater by Nikola Vucevic. Somebody needs to take Vooch off the grill because he is cooking, and he drains the 31-foot three-pointer to get the bench fired up. But Indiana stays close throughout the second half, and despite their tough season, the Pacers know how to come up clutch. Pascal Siakam's mid-range fader looks like it touches the sky before he buries it, and we're all tied up. With 40 seconds to go, Andrew Nembhard delivers the goods and hits a sick mid-range jumper to win it for Indy. The Pacers get a big win and take down the Bulls 113-110. Chicago is back in action again tonight against the Miami Heat, and Sports Watch will have the highlights tomorrow. The PGA Tour heads to famed Torrey Pines Golf Course in San Diego for the opening round of the Farmers Insurance Open. And 5-time major champion Brooks Koepka returns for his first PGA Tour round in over 1,400 days. Koepka left the PGA to join Saudi-funded Live Golf in 2022. But after contract negotiations stalled this past fall, he's back on the big stage. Where does Brooks stand after 18 holes? Well, it was a struggle for Koepka all day, carding just one birdie and shooting 1 over par on the difficult South Course, and he's 10 shots back of the lead. Now 11, as that lead is held by future Hall of Famer and 2025 Masters runner-up Justin Rose, who's 10 under with 1 hole to go on the much easier North Course. 16-year veteran Justin Lauer is one back after a thrilling 9 under par 63 that included 2 eagles and 6 birdies. Irishman Seamus Power posted the low round of the day on the South Course after he shot a 7 under 65 that wrapped up just before we hit the air. Each golfer will play the South and North Course once across the first 2 days, so players who shoot well on day 1 at the South Course have a big advantage heading into tomorrow. Brooks Koepka isn't the only Live Golf star making a big-time exit. 2019 Masters champion Patrick Reed announced Wednesday he too is leaving LIV and returning to the PGA Tour. Reed will first serve an 8-month suspension as penalty for playing Live Golf events while still under contract with the PGA, meaning he can't return to action until August. Until then, Reed will play on the DP World Tour, better known as the European Tour. Reed won last week at the Dubai Desert Classic and is playing some of the best golf of his career. Reed will look to pick up his second green jacket this April at the 2026 Masters, fresh off a third-place finish in 2025. Finally tonight, Eastern Illinois Swimming has a busy weekend ahead. The men's and women's team host a meet with Southern Illinois tomorrow at 1 here in Charleston, with the women's team traveling to Normal for a meet against the Illinois State Redbirds on Saturday at 2. That wraps up tonight's Sports Watch Report. Ben, take it away.
Thanks, Matthew. Still to come, Emily Davis returns with a final check of the Skywatch forecast, including another peek at a weekend warm-up. But first, a FedEx worker is celebrating a surprise delivery. We'll have the details in tonight's parting story. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
That treadmill has not ceased for me.
Jason Sudeikis is back on the Ted Lasso treadmill. Apple TV says season 4 of the popular series will debut this summer. A half-dozen familiar faces will be joined by a flock of new characters as Ted returns to Richmond to coach a women's football team.
Instacart lets you choose your bananas. Get 'em just how you like.
Instacart promotes its preference picker in its new Super Bowl ad with a back-flipping Benson Boone and Ben Stiller as his retro Euro disco pop duo partner who's determined not to be outshined. You'll see if he's okay on Super Sunday.
What's a booster? Somebody that steals clothes from the store and sell it at a discount price? It's like community service.
Keke Palmer leads a squad of shoplifters targeting a fashion maven played by Demi Moore in I Love Boosters. The first teaser just dropped for the new movie from Sorry to Bother You filmmaker Boots Riley. I Love Boosters opens in theaters May 22nd. Always fashion forward in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Finally tonight, a FedEx worker in Iowa is celebrating a last-minute delivery. Amethyst Bloomberg says she was finishing up her shift at FedEx when she went to use the bathroom and found out she was in labor. The catch? Bloomberg says she didn't know she was pregnant, hadn't had any symptoms, and had even lost weight. Firefighters helped her deliver the baby at work. Both Amethyst and her child Onyx were then taken to a hospital and are doing well. Hopefully Emily Davis can deliver a milder forecast. What do you say, Emily?
I don't think it'll be very mild because tomorrow's high is only in the teens. A high temperature of 16 degrees tomorrow. Starting your day off around 7 a.m. at 0 degrees, but it will eventually warm up to a high of 16. But we will see a warm up continue as we move into the weekend. A high of 20 degrees on Saturday, reaching the upper 20s by Sunday with a high of 26 degrees. And by Groundhog's Day, we'll see a high temperature back in the 30s, a high temperature of 30 degrees. But that warm-up will continue as we make it around midweek with a high of 34 degrees on Wednesday. So it will finally start to warm up.
Yeah, thanks, Emily, again for that. I know I'm going to be a little sad to see the snow melting once we get into next week. I really like seeing campus with all the snow on the ground.
That's the only good part of this weather is the snow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Emily. That'll do it for tonight's edition of Newswatch. For more news and weather, be sure to log on to our website at weiu.net.
If news is happening in your community, let us know by dropping us an email at news@weiu.net.
Have a good night, stay warm, and see you tomorrow night.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.